Marcus Freeman sat before reporters with the same measured calm that has come to define his public persona, even as the questions circling him touched one of the most emotional fault lines in college football, the Notre Dame USC rivalry, a series that has shaped seasons, careers, and the identity of the sport for nearly a century is headed for a pause, and the silence between the two programs has been filled with speculation, frustration, and pointed commentary. Most recently, that commentary came from USC head coach Lincoln Riley, whose remarks about anytime, anywhere commitments reignited debate and drew national attention. Freeman didn't bristle. He didn't escalate. Instead, he responded in a way that reflected both the weight of his position and the complicated reality of modern college football. He acknowledged the noise without embracing it, reiterating his belief that the rivalry matters deeply not just to Notre Dame or USC, but to the sport itself. He spoke with confidence that the series will return, framing the current pause not as a burial, but as an intermission dictated by circumstances far larger than personal pride or public posturing. Freeman's words carried the tone of someone who understands history but is tasked with navigating a rapidly evolving present. The Notre Dame-USC rivalry has long been more than a game. It has been a cultural touchstone, a clash of coasts, colors, and philosophies that helped define what college football could be at its best. Generations of fans grew up measuring seasons by that matchup, and countless players dreamed of leaving their mark in a game that felt bigger than rankings or records. That legacy is not lost on Freeman, who openly described the rivalry as important for college football as a whole. But he also made clear that nostalgia alone cannot dictate decision-making in an era shaped by expanded playoffs, television windows, conference realignment, and contractual obligations. When Riley suggested that Notre Dame backed away from a willingness to play anyone at any time, Freeman pushed back gently but firmly, explaining that competitiveness does not exist in a vacuum. He acknowledged his own instinct to compete anywhere, anytime, but balanced that with the responsibility he carries to make decisions that are best for the program he leads. At the heart of the disagreement is timing, context, and leverage. Freeman explained that moving a game long expected to be played late in the season to week 0 was not, in Notre Dame's view, in the program's best interest. That statement, simple on its surface, reflects a deeper strategic calculus shaped by the modern college football playoff. In a world where every data point matters, where strength of schedule, rest, recovery, and timing can influence postseason opportunity, scheduling is no longer just about tradition, it is about positioning. Freeman made it clear that Notre Dame's priority is ensuring a schedule that allows the team, if it does what it is supposed to do, to leave no doubt about its playoff worthiness. That mindset is not unique to Notre Dame, but it carries unique scrutiny because of the program's independent status and its place in the national conversation. Riley, speaking ahead of USC's Alamo Bowl appearance, detailed the Trojans' attempts to extend the rivalry and expressed frustration when a proposed extension was rejected. He pointed to Notre Dame's quick scheduling of a home-and-home series with BYU as evidence that the Irish were unwilling to meet USC's terms. From USC's perspective, the situation felt like a broken promise, a retreat from tradition in favor of convenience. Freeman did not dispute that emotions were involved, but he resisted the urge to assign blame outward. Instead, he accepted it himself, stating plainly that USC made decisions they felt were best for their program, and Notre Dame did the same. So, blame me, he said, a line that carried both accountability and an implicit attempt to shield his players and staff from the crossfire. It was a leadership moment, one that underscored his willingness to stand in front of controversy rather than deflect it. The expanded college football playoff looms over every aspect of this conversation, shaping incentives and reshaping priorities. Reports have indicated that a significant sticking point in negotiations was Notre Dame's CFP Memorandum of Understanding, which guarantees the Irish a playoff berth if they finish inside the top 12. That structural reality changes the calculus for opponents, particularly those in conferences navigating their own playoff access and scheduling demands. According to reporting from the Los Angeles Times, USC briefly considered a November 2026 matchup before insisting on a Week 0 game, a condition that ultimately derailed talks.
In that context, the pause in the rivalry becomes less about reluctance and more about misalignment, two proud programs operating under different constraints and incentives, each trying to protect its own path forward. Freeman's response avoided inflammatory language, instead projecting patience and optimism. He expressed confidence that the rivalry will return, hopefully sooner rather than later, and framed the current situation as temporary rather than terminal. That optimism matters, especially to fans who view the rivalry as sacred and fear that modern realities could permanently erode college football's traditions. Freeman's stance suggests that while the game may be paused, the relationship is not beyond repair. There is acknowledgement on both sides that the rivalry is too important to simply discard, even if the timing and structure require negotiation in the future. Beyond the immediate back and forth, Freeman's comments revealed how he views his role as Notre Dame's head coach in a shifting landscape. He is not just a steward of tradition, but a strategist tasked with maximizing opportunity in an unforgiving system. His emphasis on creating a schedule that provides a clear path to the playoff reflects lessons learned from recent seasons, including the pain of being left on the outside looking in. In an expanded playoff era, margins are still thin, and Freeman made clear that he wants no ambiguity when it comes to Notre Dame's resume. If the Irish win, he wants the schedule to speak loudly enough that debate becomes irrelevant. The pause of the Notre Dame-USC rivalry has exposed the tension between history and pragmatism, between what college football has been and what it is becoming. Freeman's response to Riley's jab did not dismiss that tension, it acknowledged it and tried to navigate it responsibly. He recognized the disappointment, the frustration, and the emotional response from fans and peers alike, while also grounding his decision-making in what he believes is best for his program. That balance between honoring the past and preparing for the future may ultimately define his tenure in South Bend as much as wins and losses. For now, one of college football's defining series sits on pause, a quiet gap where an annual spectacle once lived. The absence will be felt, especially on autumn Saturdays that used to carry an extra layer of meaning. But Freeman's words offered a measure of reassurance that the rivalry is not gone, only waiting for the right alignment to return. In a sport constantly negotiating its identity amid change, that hope matters. It suggests that even as college football evolves, there is still room for the traditions that gave it its soul, provided leaders are willing to navigate the complexities with patience, accountability, and an eye toward both legacy and opportunity.